Hello, and welcome to episode 229 of the Super Weapon Podcast, most overpowered podcast on the internet. It's your boy Darius the Artist, and as always, got my co-host DC here with me today.
Hello, guys. How are you doing? I hope you're doing great. It's a beautiful day here in Atlanta, and I'm trying to sound like Chat GPT because that's what I've been fighting with all the morning. But anyway, anyways, hope you guys are doing great. We are here to bring you another fantastic episode of the greatest podcast in the land. If you do not think so, I think that you might not be the most intelligent person in the room. But anyway,
Wow.
I'm ready.
Wow. Happy Saturday,
Yeah, I'm
guys.
ready, man. I'm ready to not talk about a certain game.
Oh, man, we're going to have some fun today, man. Welcome to episode 229, guys. Excuse me if you hear me coughing at any point. I seem to be coming down with something minor, hopefully. But we're going to get through the podcast, man. Still excited to be here today. What's going on, Tori? How are you doing, man? Coming in at Clapper and Dapper was weird. Hey, man, sometimes things get a little strange around here, but that's the great thing about the Super Weapon Podcast, right? But you know what's not a cold one? These hot Oblivion remake rumors, man. Let's just jump right into it. I think I was actually pretty excited to talk about this because, I'm a pretty new guy. I'm pretty new when it comes to the world of Bethesda games and their properties, but DC has played a number of their titles over the years. So I actually wanted to hear your opinion on what seems to be real rumors, because I think we talked about this a few months ago with Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion getting remade / remaster. Nobody really knows the truth at this point, and that it could potentially be getting shadow dropped this week coming up, which is pretty interesting that Microsoft is choosing to do that, if that's true. But it seems, from everything from leaked screenshots to some very well-known leakers and media members in the gaming space have corroborated a lot of these rumors that they are real, that the game itself is real. So, according to everyone, this is a very real game that has yet to become made public, but it's like the most open secret at this point, I guess you could say.
Judge.
And I've played a little bit of Skyrim. What was it, last year? I was playing a little bit of that over the summer, but I've never played Oblivion. I've seen a lot of gameplay videos. I've watched people play it over the years, but it's something that I just kind of missed the boat on. And with these rumors of the remake coming up, man, where do you kind of place Oblivion for you? I believe you told me you play Elder Scrolls 3 as well. Or did you play it a little bit? Or
my Elder Scrolls knowledge, it goes far back as Oblivion. I had the ones that were older than that, but I just think that I didn't play them because I don't know. You know how sometimes I feel like you just have to catch games in the moment because it could have been a great game in that moment. But as you get older and you try to play some of these old games, like the graphics and stuff is just a little bit much.
Just doesn't age as well.
And then the mechanics don't age as well. The simplest things like jumping is such like a big change in certain games. So when you go back, like in shooters, for example, like if you go back and play like a Wolfenstein or something, those games you couldn't jump. It's like the weirdest thing ever. I mean, it's something that we're used to.
That's actually a good
jumping,
point. Yeah, when you talk about
modern
game mechanics, that's actually a good point to think about.
Yeah, and I'm going to touch on that a lot when I'm talking about this game because I think that's where the problem lies with this game. Beyond the story and all that stuff, like from what I can remember, it was it's a pretty straightforward story. I believe you start off in a cell. You work your way up to you. Basically, I can't even remember why you were in the cell. You committed a crime, some crazy crap. But then throughout the story, you end up turning into basically the hero, right? Blah, 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 whatever. Cool. So I want to focus. Well, I mean, you can go ahead and ask your question, but
my first question to you, because I've heard a lot of people talk about Oblivion in sort of a different breath than Skyrim. We know of Skyrim being one of the most sold games of all time. That
Hmm.
that was such a huge moment in gaming. But I always feel like I kind of look at the conversation for Oblivion as I do the conversation of people who like Mass Effect 2 versus 3, like where, one might technically be a more successful game, but some people prefer one over the other. Do you have a
Hmm.
preference between the two, or do you have one that
So this is the thing, right?
you know what I mean? Like I'm curious about that.
Oblivion was a set piece in its time. When Oblivion came out, it pushed the boundaries of RPG as far as scale and options, right? Like
Yeah.
as far as just quest, where you can go, what you can do. Um, Oblivion kind of set the tone for that.
Yeah.
But I think what happened was when you came out with Skyrim, Skyrim did what any good um uh what do you call it? It did what any good game supposed to do moving forward when you have a series, right? You want to add on to what was already created. And I think Skyrim would be the better game because it added on so many elements
Yeah.
that Oblivion was missing. Even though Oblivion did what it was supposed to do at the time, moving forward, Bethesda learned kind of like, okay, well, we got a base here, and then we're going to add more stuff here that was missing in this. So it
Yeah.
was a proper predecessor, if you will.
Okay.
So Skyrim would be better, right? But my thing is this: with all the mods and stuff that you have for Skyrim, I think with Oblivion, I don't know. It's like I've seen stuff done with the game, and
Yeah.
my biggest concern is like we were just talking about. How are they going to do this game? Like, because there's a lot of things that may not translate real well. If it's just like a remastered and it's just like, oh, polished graphics or whatever, and that's it, I don't think we're in a good position for this game to really move the needle, so to speak. You would just be living off nostalgia at that point, and I feel like you're gonna get, as far as sales, you'll get like that group of people who want to go back and play Oblivion. But I don't think you really push the boundaries as far with sales if you're just gonna throw a shiny coat on this game and then throw it out into the world, right? There's a lot of mechanics and stuff in this game that may need to be reworked. It's some, like, the gameplay is real like stiff. The combat is like, it's real wonky. Like, if you like when you play this game back in the day, like, don't get me wrong, this was the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got first person combat, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of games really, especially RPGs, right? RPGs wasn't really, it wasn't too many that did it on the scale of a Bethesda game, right?
Especially like action RPGs too.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like when
yeah.
you're fighting with the sword, and then you got the shield in one hand, and you're looking through, you're seeing it through the person's point of view,
Yeah.
which is cool. But like I said, if you're gonna just throw a shiny coat on this game and throw it out there, I think they're doing a disservice. So hopefully, with this remake, remaster, whatever they want to call it, the skin that it's in, hopefully we get a lot of improvements on these key things, right? Even like the armor system and stuff like that. It's just like, I'm here for it, but then it's like, what are we doing with this game? Like, I just don't want to see a better looking game, which people already been complaining about, which is crazy because they said
Are we gonna
it.
we're gonna touch on a lot. I do want to touch on a lot of that,
Yeah, they said
and
it looks ashy. We're gonna get to that, but
you know, and I'm actually glad you brought up the point of, because I think we're where the industry is at this point. It's not enough for an old game to just, like you said, have a new touch of paint, new updated graphics,
mm-hmm.
and people automatically call it a success. And because I was doing a little bit of research on this morning, because I was actually really, really curious about this. And so the studio who's making this allegedly is the studio, they're called Virtuos. And they've made a few other remakes, I believe. And they're also the ones who are working on the Metal Gear Solid Delta remaster or remake, if you want to call it that. And based off of just that and some rumors that they have of course, Bethesda is involved in in this partly some kind of way. But from what I've seen, that they've updated some of the more frustrating things about Oblivion. One of them being like stamina. Apparently, like
Oh yeah.
because when you play the game, it's really easy for you to get knocked down when your stamina's depleted, and it makes it easier for enemies to hit you and kill you. And apparently, they've redone some things like combat, some of those more frustrating things that you've mentioned. And it's just such a strange. I find this whole situation strange, right? Because you have this game that is beloved by a lot of people, especially a game in Oblivion, and you have a studio in Bethesda who I don't say they need the good PR or anything. I'm not gonna say that, but after a game like Starfield, which didn't really hit the mark for a lot of people, and people are just kind of looking for the next thing from them. I find it just so weird that they have not marketed this if this is a real thing. Like I wonder what Xbox's intention was behind that. Because if this is like a full blown remaster, right? Let's say that they built this from the ground up. Allegedly, this has been rebuilt in Unreal Engine 5. And, they've taken the time to address some of the older parts and, some of the more frustrating things about the game. Why would you not want to market this
Give it a
game?
proper rollout.
Yeah, give it a proper rollout for people to see. Because I look at this a lot differently than something like Hi-Fi Rush, which I think was pretty successful in the regard of being shadow
That was
dropped.
like a brand new IP.
It was a a brand new IP versus something like this. Elder Scrolls is one of the most popular IP in the industry, and it has been for a very long time. And just shout out to Mango, like what he said, right? Like the difficulty isn't the difficulty and balance part of the charm of old games. So that's another thing you got to think about too. Is like how far are you gonna go to change certain things while also keeping that old DNA intact that people really love? Like that's a big challenge for a lot of remasters, in my opinion, especially nowadays. Because like I said, people aren't just accepting higher graphical fidelity. They're not just accepting the game, just the way it was and being slapped with a potential full price tag on it, right? But
Right.
if you do
Ooh,
that,
that's another thing I didn't think about.
yeah,
What that price tag gonna be?
and that's one thing too, right? Like you got to think, I'm thinking at least, are they going to push people more towards Game Pass at that point? Like will this be a full price game? Will this be a $60, $70 game? At this point, because this game's been this has been 20 years old at this point. Like this game is really old.
Yeah. And then also with the release date, like
Yeah.
you got the God, what's the name of that game coming out like 3 days after? If this game does
Claire
come
Obscure
out,
Exhibition 33, yeah, that comes out on Game Pass too. It comes out on 24th, I think.
so essentially Xbox went from quote unquote not having games to having too many.
So and that's why because people were thinking that this is gonna come out on the 21st, which is I think 2 days as of this recording. Yeah, it comes out according to the chatbot, the Microsoft chatbot. Like the and this is why I just don't. It's such a strange situation, man. Like
I've been like reading up on it this morning. I've been trying to figure out like it can't drop that soon, right?
You would think so, because people were speculating that we were going to see it at the Nintendo Direct. People were speculating we were going to see it at the showcase that happened earlier this year for Xbox. And I just have to wonder, has there been some sort of like trouble with the development of this game? Is that why we haven't seen anything? And I'll say this much, I'm not faulting them for not saying anything, because then they're not over promising anything. They're not, stepping on any rakes as they've done in the past, as Xbox has typically done before with games. But at the same time, You know, if you know that people really care about this game and people really love this game, why not give it the proper
The
runway
proper,
to succeed? It's just such a weird situation. And
because
once
it
it,
feels like it's a throwaway, right? It's just like it feels like, hey, we're gonna give Bethesda some space. We're gonna just throw this out here to tide them over while we work on
yeah,
the next Elder Scrolls, right? And I don't want it to be that because is
yeah, for people like you and Bangle who've played this game, I'm assuming Bangle has played Elder Scrolls 4 versus people like me who've never played the original. My opinion on it's probably going to be vastly different from y'all, right? Because I'll be experiencing the updated, if there is updated combat and core mechanics that have changed, like I'll probably feel a lot differently from this game than you guys do.
mm-hmm.
Which will that be a good thing or a bad thing for Xbox at that point, especially if they just shadow drop this game? Like it's just such
If they
a
shadow drop it, then I feel like it's a throwaway at that
yeah,
point.
yeah.
If they shadow drop it, yeah, it's just like, hey, we're just trying to beef up our roster for Game Pass at this point. That's how I feel. Like we're gonna give you as many games as we can because hey, we were told we didn't have games, right?
Yeah, I
So
guess at this point.
let's just throw shit in the pot.
They're
Like
just
you
forcing
got
you.
this
They're force feeding
amazing
you
game
now.
coming out. What is it next week?
Yeah, it comes
You
out the
got this
24th. Yeah.
amazing you got this amazing looking RPG about to come out. Why would you step on your own launch with another RPG? Like it's I guess when people were saying Xbox didn't have RPGs, they kind of took it to heart.
They're force feeding you. It's like, no, I don't want any more cereal. Like, too bad. You're gonna finish the whole bowl. Like,
Yeah, and it's very like strange and it's also like I would love to see a proper remake. I don't want a remastered.
and
I
that's
would
and
love
that's
to see
another
this
thing. Like
game.
the language, right? Remake versus remaster. Which one is it? Because I've heard people call it both in rumors.
Yeah, and they're not confirming.
Nobody knows anything. Like, and here I'm pulling up the graphics of the screenshots that have leaked off of Virtuos's website. These are just a few of them, which makes me just looking at this, right? Like, we'll talk about the the color and stuff like that in a
Premise.
second, but the images on the right to me scream that this is a full remake versus the images. I mean, look at the difference in quality. Like, those are fully remade assets. Like, I
Right.
just I just don't think this is something as simple as we've just updated the graphics. Here you go. I
But see,
just
the right reminds me a lot of Skyrim because Skyrim had that dusty, dry ass looking look to
Skyrim's
it.
not. Yeah,
So
Skyrim is a very brown game. It really, outside of like the snow.
brown in your
Yeah,
pants.
that game is very brown, which I honestly don't have any issue with the image on the right. You know what I mean? I look at the left and it seems like it's I don't want to say more saturated, especially like in the green. The greens, it doesn't look as natural as some of the forested areas here on the right. That's just my opinion. I know some people got
Hmm.
real upset about this. Like, let's like Era said in chat, crusty, right? Like, some people were very, very mad at the way the game looked at on the right, and that's once again, are they trying to just avoid a lot of that scrutiny from the Bethesda community, from the Oblivion community? And another thing I was thinking about too. I don't know if you've heard of that mod. I forget the name of the mod group that's working on it. They're working on a Skyrim mod called Sky Oblivion, where they're essentially porting Oblivion into Skyrim and making like a brand new experience. A lot of people were thinking
Yeah,
thinking about those guys. It's like, well, shit. What about those guys? Like, what are they gonna do at this point? Especially if this turns out to be a real game.
but see, is this the result of opening up your game? Could this be like a result of just no, I got the sniffles. Damn it.
I'm spreading it around. Sorry.
Well, basically what I'm saying is when you leave your game too open, right?
Hmm.
And you start having modders make better stuff than what you intentionally been working on, it's like, do you want to open that floodgate up for like future games? Like once you open your game up to modders, because
Yeah.
that Sky Oblivion, whatever.
Sky
It's
Oblivion, yeah.
like,
Let's see if I can
and you
find
get
it.
all these modders together, and they do some pretty cool stuff. And it's just like, if this game comes out and then it just blows under the radar, it was just kind of like, are you waiting for these guys to mod it to death? Because let's be real, Bethesda has kind of that reputation for that.
Right.
Like they kind of drop their games, like they'll drop this Oblivion game, and then even if it don't do well, it's just like, okay, well, we're gonna open it up to the community and then let them mod it to death. Now you're making money on the back end because people are starting to buy the game just to mod it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
So yeah,
So it's like it's really weird with Bethesda because they do that with all their games. They tend to open their games up and leave them for modern interpretation, as I like to call it.
right. And to your point, Bangle in chat, he says he gets company's point of view. They're going for a new audience and aren't making this for the original one. If that was the case in my mind, if I'm Microsoft, I would want to preview this game everywhere I can. Because if I'm someone who's never played a Bethesda game, right? Like somebody like myself who's played very few, if not, many, never beaten one for sure. What is my incentive of wanting to play this action RPG? What is the hook for me? You know what I mean? Like, and that I would think they would want to show this off as much as possible. For those of you guys who
Hmm.
are looking at, who are watching the video version, this is the Sky Oblivion game. This is like a quest showcase that they're doing, and they've been apparently working on this for a long time. This modding group has been working on this for a few years, and I just wonder, when Oblivion comes out, right? Like, let's say it does have a lot of the different, updated graphics, more modern core features, better stamina, all the stuff that people really didn't like about Oblivion. How would you, as
Right.
somebody who's played the game, how would you feel like? Would that make you interested in revisiting that? Revisiting
I think I
Oblivion.
would want to revisit it just to see how different the game is.
Yeah,
I would definitely want to, because I have memories of playing this game, and like I said, nostalgia could be a bitch, right?
yeah,
Like you might have had the time of your life back then, but then you go play it now and you just like,
yeah,
it was just okay. But I would definitely play it because I would want to see,
yeah,
and I would want to, I definitely would want to see what they've done with the game because at its core, as far as like stories and stuff like that, at its core, it's a good game.
yeah,
So at least at the end of the day, you are getting a good story out of the deal. And then, you know, as far as the graphics go, that's always, a little eye candy ain't never hurt nobody.
sure.
So yeah, I would definitely play it again. Now, would it be the first game on my list of games to play? Considering like all the games that's coming out in the next couple of months, no, it would definitely. And see, this is my problem too, right? I don't rush to Bethesda games because usually they have bug issues, and usually people are waiting for the modding community to fix everything before they even play the games.
Man, that's another good question. Do you think this game's gonna have modding tools?
Yes, it might not start with it,
Yeah,
but Bethesda are known for opening their games up to the public. So they're gonna drop it. It's gonna do what it does. Probably a year from now, they'll start dropping different mod tools and stuff for it. And yeah, that's probably with all the games that I'm playing,
yeah,
it'll probably be a while before I even get to this one. And hopefully once I get to it, mods being had, fix some of the minor things, or Bethesda. Because I do believe, yeah, this game may come out with a few bugs. It may come out a little buggy. I don't think it's going to be a disaster, but most
yeah,
games nowadays do come out with some kind of bugs, but you might get a day one patch here or something like that. And I don't see this game being any different. But the
yeah.
difference with them is Bethesda, they seem to love opening their games up to the public to kind of dissect and create on. So
It's
Yeah,
just
I'm
so
just
it's
gonna
so
see.
interesting. Like this whole situation is just it's such a different departure from what Xbox has done. Like their strategy, for releasing games over the last couple of years, and I wonder
Right.
if you and Bangle might be onto something. Like I wonder if this is just kind of like a test bed for them dropping games, because then you have to wonder, it's like, are y'all seeing a return on investment for your marketing initiatives? Like, or are you seeing, you
Exactly. But
know,
this game carries so much weight, right? I don't I don't think I want to say this lightly. I don't think you would need heavy marketing for this game in
yeah,
particular because I think just by them dropping leaks and stuff and then word of mouth once it drops, it may be enough.
yeah,
Maybe.
I agree. I
I could see if
100%
it was
think
a
they're behind
brand
it.
new IP,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah,
But like in the state of where games are right now, budgeting is probably top priority on the list. Budgeting for advertisement or anything,
yeah,
So they're trying to see if it's like you said, if it's worth the money to even put. Like people don't understand. Let me tell y'all something. Not just games, but any kind of product. A lot of money is spent on advertisement. Like a
yeah.
lot. A shit ton of
Uh,
money is spent on advertising. So if they can cut back on that and still kind of sales are still there or whatever, I could see it even being a trend
yeah,
moving forward because we've talked about it a billion times on the podcast. Like right now, the state of games, period, and especially when it comes to studios and money, they're looking to cut costs
yeah,
at every avenue. So this could be some kind of test. I'm open to that idea.
yeah. And I think it goes without saying. I think this is gonna drop on PlayStation, and maybe Switch 2. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
a pretty fair assessment. You would want a game like this to sell, just like you said, right? Like sell as much as possible outside of
Mm-hmm.
the Xbox ecosystem, and you know, a lot of people who subscribe to Game Pass won't have to worry. This is going to be on Game Pass. This is, but will this move the needle as far as like subscribers for them? There's just so many questions I have when it comes to this, because it's such a this whole situation is one of the strangest ones I've seen in the last couple of years, especially around a game like you said as big or as popular as Oblivion has been. And it's definitely gonna be interesting. I guess we'll see what happens on Monday.
And
uh,
if you notice, like one thing that sets Oblivion apart from Skyrim to me is their color palette.
yeah.
Oblivion was a much brighter game, as you can tell if you're watching us on the video
Well,
live.
this is it. Hold on, let me pull up Oblivion because this is still Sky Oblivion. This is the mod. Actually, let's pull up
Oh, okay. But no,
Oblivion.
even then, Oblivion, the original Oblivion, they had a different color palette from Skyrim because Skyrim was more. It was ashy. It was an ashy ass game.
It is brown. Gameplay. Let's see trailer because of course all the videos that come up
Oblivion
are.
was Oblivion colors look better.
Oh, here's the E3 2005 demo. My God.
Because Oblivion, I mean, Bethesda
Yeah.
has a bad habit of using like I don't know what it is about what palettes. Like they use the most washed colors, boy.
Even
It
even
look
a
like a
game like gosh, we were just talking about like Starfield was it wasn't super like colorful for like a sci-fi game. I always thought
mm-hmm.
that was something that really kind of threw me off about that game. I think that's something else that just really kind of bugged me about Starfield. It was just like you said, it seemed very
It's the
muted.
Bethesda
Yeah,
effect, man. It's
yeah.
like they use this fucking ashy color palette. Like, and
Oh
I
man.
understand some parts. Oh, look at this
You see
greatness.
him grab the chains. That was revolutionary in 2005. People were probably losing their minds about that.
And moving it around. Oh
Oh,
man.
physics. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Oh
100%.
man, this was groundbreaking shit
It,
back
it
then,
really
man.
was, yeah.
I need to see them go outside because I swear this game was like
Yeah. Hold on, let me
the
see if I can.
atmosphere was brighter.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's going to be dark because he's in a dungeon.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip forward a little bit. I think he goes
Yeah, I
outside
see
after
him
this.
outside.
But yeah, it's
Mm,
such an interesting moment for this particular. Oh yeah, this is a much brighter game from Skyrim. Skyrim is in it, and I guess probably because of the regions of the world of Elder
yeah, I was
Scrolls.
just saying that.
You know, like because I even remember seeing like videos of Morrowind back in the day on like G4 TV, and that looked very like the sky was very gray. It looked kind of like London. You know, just very just gray
Yeah,
and depressing kind of. You know, the mood seemed that way, but man, this
yeah,
is
this looks a lot greener.
yeah. And maybe those screenshots just don't do the game justice. Like maybe they just chose the wrong areas to show off to people. You know, and because once again, if this game is real, maybe we'll get a
So were
trailer.
they? And then my thing is this: were they really leaks?
Nah, I honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Microsoft was behind all of it. Everything that's happened, I think they're behind it.
That shit ain't leaks. Let's just be honest. That shit's not leaks, man.
Because
That's the test. I call that to test the waters. They testing the temperature, man.
what's even
That wasn't no
funnier
goddamn leak.
too is after people discovered the screenshots on Virtuos's website, they essentially shut their website down.
Yes.
They essentially shut their
Somebody
entire.
got a very stern talking to.
Oh yeah,
All right?
somebody got in trouble for that. 100%.
Or maybe they were just selling it. They
Yeah.
was really selling it, boy.
They're like, all right, now we're gonna take the site down for a little bit. Yeah. I just think that's funny, man. Like whenever stuff like that happens, I just imagine someone getting. What was the term? No, what was the term your brother used the other day? Get fed
Paddled?
to? No. What
Oh,
did he say?
fed to the sharks?
Fed to the dragon or some shit.
Very corporate
shout out to DC's brother,
terminology.
man. Oh my goodness. Somebody getting fed to the
Somebody,
dragon, bro. That is legendary.
somebody had, somebody got in trouble.
But yeah, man, I just
But this is an enigma. This whole situation is why I love this podcast and I love talking about video games. It's just like, look at this, man. I remember this.
this
now.
does look very
I kind of want to go
stiff.
back and play it because I very rarely remember
Yeah.
a lot of this.
It looks
But back in the day, this view was like, just being in this view was like very, very groundbreaking to play a game like this.
because this came out the same year for the 360, right? The 360 launch, if I'm not mistaken, right? Hold on, let me see. I don't think it was a launch title, but let's see. Elder Scrolls.
I remember I had this shit on 360. What
I
a
think
time.
it was exclusive to Xbox, if I remember right.
And it was old because I remember I had this when I lived overseas. I had this shit. Oh my God.
Oh, it came out in 2006. Okay, March 20th, 2006.
Yep.
Wow,
Yep,
man.
because I remember I had it on my 360 when I lived overseas. Yep. What a time.
Oh no, this did come out on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Okay. Wow.
What a time, man.
See, this makes me
What
want to go
a-
back and play Skyrim. Honestly, I do need to go back and finish. that
Skyrim's a
game.
good game.
Yeah.
It's just you have so much going on. It's not like you're not playing it because you don't want to. It's just a lot of shit going
Yeah,
on.
and I'm kind of
Skyrim-
the same mind as you, man. Like I do want to check if when I'm gonna say when I'm gonna say this the remake is real. Whenever it does come out, I do want to check it out at some point, just so we can have another discussion on it. From the point of view of it being my first time, you revisiting a game after such a long time, and the changes to the gameplay, to story, well, not story, but graphics and everything. I think that'll be a pretty interesting conversation to have. But I mean, I don't know, especially just like you said with Expedition 33 coming out this week. That's going to be on Game Pass. I think that's going to be a lot of people's focus. So I don't
That's
expect
why
this
this
will release
can't
the
come out
same.
now.
Yeah, I don't think this will be the same day, man. If it does
They
come
can't
out, it'll
step
come
on
out.
their own toes. That's weird.
Yeah,
They,
they wouldn't
can't
do that
it
to a
next month
studio.
because Doom come out. So
Oh my gosh, Doom does come out in May. Oh my word, yeah, it comes out
Mhm.
like May 20th or something, right? Yeah, that's a good point.
yep. You want to squeeze Oblivion in there somewhere? I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be tight. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if, who knows, like maybe this gets pushed back to late summer, maybe? Where
I
does this
would
game
I
fit
wouldn't
in the grand scheme of
I
things? Is
wouldn't
the
be mad
question.
with a late summer. I would say maybe August. I
Yeah.
would be happy with this coming out in like a late August. Because I mean, well, this is before, of course, we get a lot of announcements for games coming out later this year. But you don't want to put this in September because that's Marathon and that's Borderlands 4.
See.
October potentially no, because you got Call of Duty coming out. It'll get buried under that. Um, Late October, November potential GTA 6 window. So no, like it's just I don't know. You're not gonna put it in December. That's just weird. I don't see this waiting to release this until near Christmas.
Ah,
I just don't know. I don't know.
what do we do? You got to cram it in there somewhere.
Yeah,
You got to
maybe
put it in
maybe
there
they will
somewhere.
just say fucking and just shadow drop it this week. Maybe we're just wrong and they're just gonna be like, you know what? Let's just see what happens, right? I don't know. I feel like this is supposed to have come out before, and they just for like I said, for one reason or another, it got held back. The announcement got held back. Something happened to where this wasn't revealed or was delayed for one reason or another. No, you can't do August. It's Metal Gear. I just thought about that. Unless you do like early August, like Metal Gear Delta
I
comes
think
out
it
August.
may, but I think of all the spaces, it may fit there well.
Yeah,
It may right before Metal Gear because you got an RPG. It's two different kind of like genres. You know what I'm saying?
that's fair. Yeah,
So you might be kind of, you know, it's a real shake of the dice. You might be able to get it in there.
it'll be very telling once these remasters come out because I've even seen people talking about that. Microsoft might be looking at remastering Fallout 3 or remaking Fallout 3 in the next few years, which I
Hmm.
realistically could see that happening because of the popularity of Fallout TV, the TV show.
Right.
And I think, with them working with Bethesda going full steam ahead on Elder Scrolls 6, which we're not going to see probably till like 2030. When do you give your community another Fallout game? So maybe remastering 3 isn't a bad idea.
Hmm.
They're not going to
Yeah, and
do,
then
you know,
let's see if they do three, then they might as well go ahead and attach New Vegas to it too. But then,
New Vegas
wait,
actually
don't.
isn't a bad idea because of where the show's going. If you guys haven't seen the
Hmm.
end of Fallout season 1, go watch it. I'm not going to say what happens, but something shows up at the end of the show that basically leads into Fallout New Vegas.
I gotta watch it again. 'Cause I
Yeah,
got a memory of a snail, but it was a good show.
yeah.
But then, don't you got a what's the other Obsidian game? Wild, what
Well,
Obsidian
Obsidian
game coming out this
Outer
year?
Wilds, yeah, that
Outer Wilds too.
comes out in a few months, I think. I don't know if there's a release date for it, but I know they're
It
doing
comes
a
out
bit.
this year too.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, and that could step on this game as well because
let's see release date. I know they're
Outer
doing
Wilds.
something at the showcase, the Xbox showcase this year for Outer Wilds. Yeah, it just says sometime in 2025. And IGN is doing a
See,
lot of coverage on the game right now
oh,
for it. So I'm thinking Outer
it's
Wilds is
just
gonna
too
come out
much.
soon. Yeah,
We've been spoiled the last couple of years, and we'll never admit it.
that's true. Xbox is like, nah,
We've been
y'all.
having game on top of game on top of games, and we will never admit it.
Honestly, I think the last couple years of the game industry been good, man. I do. I think after 2023, like 2023 until now, it's been pretty good.
In
2021 and
contrast,
22 were kind of because it was after COVID and a bunch of stuff got pushed out the way. But
and
I
these are games that's going to take a while to beat too.
exactly, yeah. And then you got to think about like what's gonna get announced this year for next year. Like it just never stops. It's just like Bangle said, like backlog go back like 10 years.
Dude,
Yeah, I mean,
all these
like,
games are some chunky boys. Like this game, Oblivion is not a short game by a long shot.
yeah.
Outer Wilds is a pretty long game. It's
I
gonna
wonder. I
be
wonder how
yeah, and
long
then
that is. It's gonna be because the first game wasn't like super long. If you guys haven't played Outer Wilds, man, highly recommend it. It's fun. It was a fun game. I hope the second one lives up to. I mean, because I've been watching the coverage for IGN on it,
I think it will.
and it seems like they're expanding in all the right areas. You know, I got trust in Obsidian, man. I know a lot of people weren't fans of what was the game that just came out? The Magic game, the fantasy game that they just released.
Avowed.
Yes, I know a lot of people weren't really like hype on that, but I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see.
You know what's weird? I think Avowed has. I think they have their little niche corner of people that like that game.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's
once again, they're gonna and the mod squad is gonna hit that game as well, man.
yeah,
I feel like
it's not a bad game. It just doesn't. It's just it's a fine game.
it's it's not a bad game. Like I've been saying, it's not a bad game. It just didn't do anything different.
Yeah,
It kind of just created this universe, and it took the core mechanics that worked from previous games, kind of crammed it in there. And to be honest with you, I feel like they're doing like what a lot of games are doing. They're just playing it safe. Like we have a lot
yeah,
of games out here that are afraid to take a risk, and I would even like to compare that to a movie that I saw this morning. And I complained about it, but then I said, you know what? You can't complain about it because you're always complaining about movies don't take risks. And Mr. Peel, I don't know where you going with a football horror movie. I was clowning
Oh,
you at first. I was clowning him at first. I said, this is
well,
stupid.
he's not directing it. He's just a producer.
And that's
But
fine.
you could that movie is definitely gonna have his fingerprints all over. You could tell from the trailer. If you
And that's
guys,
fine
uh,
because, like I said, at first I was like, yo, this is. And then when I thought about all my complaints about Hollywood remakes and movies being the same, I said, you know what? I wish this movie the very best. I hope it succeeds in whatever it's
yeah,
trying to do. So that way people can get more creative. And I bring that back to the gaming world. Like, I kind of look at things and I don't be so critical when they try to think outside of the box. As long as it's executed well, then hey, go for it because we need
yeah,
more original ideas, and then we have to support those original ideas too, so people will be able to continue to make those type.
we
I
gotta
mean, take those
support
types
double
of
A and the
risks.
indies, man. That's really where it's at. Like you're not gonna get a lot of that in AAA, unfortunately. I agree with
Mhm.
you 110%. But I mean, you look at a game like Schedule One. Made by one
I was about to
guy,
say it.
very very it doesn't
Made by
the
one
crazy
pothead.
thing about Schedule One is it doesn't do anything amazing. It's just a fun game. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like there's nothing about that game that's revolutionary. There's nothing about the game that breaks any new barriers for gaming, but it's for whatever reason it just caught on because it was just like I said, it's just different enough, and it had a decent idea, and he's doing good with it. So you
He's
never know, man.
expounded, and they're doing updates. Like the
Yeah,
game gets updated regularly. There's a lot of stuff that people are trying to do. Like they do like broken stuff, and he's quick to fix it. And you know, it's gonna like they are. He's already planning to like drop DLC, and like it's crazy to see one person come up with like
yeah.
this idea. It happens every year. It's all every year. It's always one little niche little indie
One
game.
indie darling, as they call them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's always that one that comes out and blows the socks off the freaking industry. Remember what was it? Fall Guys and
Oh man,
what
Fall
else?
Guys was the time. Yeah, Fall Guys. What was the other one from last year? I was just the one where you're like, oh gosh, I was just hold on. It's on my Steam
Party
playlist.
Animals.
Let me
Was that
see.
it?
No, 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 no. I have it somewhere. I don't have it installed, but I have it. Lethal Company is what I'm thinking about. Yeah,
Yeah, Lethal Company,
yeah,
which we never played. Son of a bitch.
yeah.
That new one, what Repo
Repo. Yeah, yeah,
streamer game, as I like to call it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a like, and my thing is this, right? You're spreading, but
Ground Zero.
my thing is this, right? You don't always have to be hyper realistic, ultra political. You know what I'm saying? You always don't have to hit these certain benchmarks.
Yeah.
to create something that most would consider a great game. Like sometimes when people think of a great game, they automatically think of the most realistic game you can ever play, or whatever the case may be, Ultra Shadows and all that. Like once again go to Schedule One. This game looks like a Roblox game. It looks like
It does,
Roblox,
yeah. Very simple, and yeah.
but the concept is just fun. It's just like make as much money as you can, selling as much drugs as you can.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs, but yeah, it doesn't always have to be. Sometimes it could be a puzzle game. It could be something simple that just catches the eye of the people. Remember, let's go way back. Candy Crush. That dude
Oh
sold
man.
that game for like 3 billion. Like,
Yeah.
it could be a simple puzzle game. Sometimes you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. You could just create a small training wheel and boom, you got this game out here now. So yeah, gaming is interesting. It's crazy. It's crazy how it works.
There's always interesting stories going on, man. I'm curious to see if this game comes out this year or this week. Honestly, I think it'll be the talk of the town if it does. And we got Clear Obscure coming out next week. I definitely want to check that out. I think I'm gonna probably download that and play it, and we'll probably talk about it next episode.
Yeah, and then because speaking of backlog, because I still have to play South of Midnight.
Yeah, South of
Already got it downloaded. I haven't even had a chance to play it yet.
Forgot about Monster Hunter. There's just not enough time.
Monster Hunter DLC dropped. I played a little bit of that, but I still gotta make time for that. Yeah, man. I don't want to hear nobody talking about we don't have games to play. If you saying that, hey, I'm just gonna say it, man. You're a loser. You probably only play 2 games.
You don't really enjoy video games if you think that
2 games, and you know what those 2 games are. One's with a gun and one's with a basketball. You're one of them. Or a football.
Oh
Why is he
man.
talking to like Anastasia from
All right.
in a football?
Oh man. All right.
American man. Do you play football?
Football. Well, we'll see if the game does come out, man. You guys will be the first ones to talk about it. I promise you that, man. But I think that's a good into the sode, man. Rapper and Dapper,
He got me saying that shit on my playthroughs. This jerk. I'll be like, let's Rapper and Dapper.
Love it, man.
It's been an hour and 40 minutes. Didn't mean to play this long, but when you're selling crack.
Oh, man.
In the game, guys.
In game, of course, in game. Thank you guys for hanging out, man, for episode 229. We're about to hit the 230s, man. Another milestone coming up. Appreciate you guys for hanging out as always. Another beautiful day. If you guys live in Georgia, go outside, man. The weather's nice. Take
a walk with your loved ones.
Yeah. Don't forget to take your Zyrtec or your, whatever you need, because it's dangerous out here, man. These allergies kicking everybody butt. I don't really have a whole lot for y'all, man. As always, man. Make sure you guys just check me out everywhere. There's the artist. I haven't really been active on Twitter as much. I've been getting more active on LinkedIn, funny enough, but I don't think you guys want to see what I'm posting there. So yeah. So thank you guys for hanging out, man.
Social media, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, social media is stupid. DC.
Yes, sir. Gotta say, take him on home, baby.
Yeah, I was. Oh God.
Oh.
The dramatic
wait.
pause.
Let's start over. I ruined it. All right, hold on. DC.
Take him home, baby.
All right, guys, it's a nice, hot, sunny day in the ATL. So if you're in Georgia and you like a little tasty weather, go ahead, step outside with your loved ones. Make sure you hold their hands and make sure you hold the little one's hands when you're crossing the street, because people cannot drive in this bitch. But anyway, 4:00 today. 4:00 today. Go ahead and hit them notifications on the YouTube, because my episode 3 of Schedule 1 drops today at 4. I'm gonna need you guys to hit that noti bell so you'll be notified when it come up.
Ding.
And if you're just chilling and you want to just laugh at me and my mishaps trying to sell drugs in the wildest drug simulator I've ever played in my life, come on through. There's a girl named Jessie in the game, and she's a basehead. Let me tell you about Jessie. She likes to knock on your door at 12 o'clock at night and ask for chronic. And then when you tell her no, she tries to attack you. But if you want to see all that good, great, crazy stuff,
Chronic.
hit the notification bell, watch the YouTube, come on back, and let's discuss some video
Ding.
games and all that great stuff. I don't have too much. I think that's all I have. I don't think we're going to stream after this. I think we're going to
No.
just chill.
Nope. No stream.
Darius has to get healthy, so we're going to just chill. I will be in the Discord if you guys want to come chat. And as always, people who get the audio version of this, come hit us up in our Discord. Make it your home base. Hit us up in our what is that? The Reddit. Make it the home base. If you just a lover of video games, pop culture, and you want to talk jazz about anime or any other geeky, nerdy shit, we welcome you. That's all I have.
All right, guys. You guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you guys for hanging out. And that's the end of the podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.